everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Incredible Sulk. I'm the Sulk stream. Well, blew that one. I absolutely fucked that right up. You know, let's call it a night. Let's call it a fucking night. We might as well. We might as well. No recovering from that. Absolutely impossible. When you blow the initial line like that, I mean, what does that say? What does that say about me as a streamer? As whatever this is I do, as a podcaster, whatever stupid thing I'm doing here. What does that say? It says I'm bad, I'm unprepared, I'm lazy, I'm good for nothing. But hey, so are the rest of us. So, I don't think it matters. I hope you guys are good tonight. I'm so. I'm okay. I'm honestly okay. But you know me. You know old Sulk. He has his phases. He has his ups and his downs and his almost like bipolar attitude where, you know, he's fine one night. He's fine. But then the next night, he's just not. Is that a mental disorder? It could be. Or it could just be how people are. Maybe that's how people are these days. You fight back the sadness as much as you can, but eventually it just makes its way in. It creaks open that door and says, hey, I'm here. It's time to feel sad today. Isn't it? Isn't it? We sad today. That's what it says. No reason, no rhyme, no kind of rhythm behind it. You're just sad, motherfucker. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Feel it. You know you want to. You might not want to outwardly. And people ask you, hey, are you okay? You doing okay? And then you say, yeah, I'm fine. But you're not. You're not okay. You're fine. I guess that's what we have to do as men, right? Grit our teeth and bear it. Life is, it's cruel to us. Do we deserve it? I don't know, man. I don't think it matters either. Life just is what it is. And yeah, some days you're going to be okay. You're going to be able to take the pain. You're going to be able to push it deep down inside enough to where you can like put on a brave face and like talk to people and they won't ask if you're okay. That's the best you can do. That's the best you can do. Right? Hopefully. Anyways, guys. Tonight we're talking about OnlyFans girls. Wonderful topic. Nail on the head. That's all I can say is nail on the fucking head. Right? Because what is more pathetic than somebody who flashes their coochie on the internet for pennies? Pennies. Far less than what I make on this show, and I'm not even showing my cooter. No one would want to see it anyway. It's not even a cooter. It's a big honking dick. I hope you guys are okay. I really do. I care about you. On some weird, not as much as like a pet or something like that. Nowhere near a child, obviously, but I do have concern for you. I do want what's best for you. I don't know how to properly describe it or how to make an analogy about it, but you're more than strangers, but less than family. So I hope you're out there doing well and gritting your teeth and bearing it, right? As life just gives it to you, right? Fucking dry fists you as just over and over, all the way to the watch. I hope you didn't have one of those days. I really do. Anyways, we're talking about some OnlyFans girl who strangled a guy, suffocated him. He got a little too uppity, asked for some weird things, and she wasn't exactly a doctor, as you might imagine. You might be able to tell. Wrapped him up in saran wrap and suffocated him. Probably the best night of his life, honestly. Just the best night of his life. But it was his last. But it was okay because he was old. He was old. And you kind of deserve that. If you're hitting up OnlyFans girls to come over and wrap you up in saran wrap and then you suffocate to death, you kind of deserve that. You kind of deserve that. I mean, in a very real way, you're taking advantage of somebody. But I understand that it was money changed hands and it was mutually consensual and stuff like that. But was it? Was borrowing against the future so your kids would have to pay off your debts consensual? And then in turn, you return some of that money so somebody wraps you up in saran wrap and you can see their boobies. It doesn't sound as consensual as you might think it is. It really doesn't. But who knows? This could be funny. This could be fun. This could be jovial and light and effervescent and ebullient. I don't know any more words for bubbly. Let's just say bubbly. And get over it. We're done. We're done. We blew it from the first line. The first line tonight. I fucked it up. Which should, let you know that my head is somewhere else. And it's right up my own ass. So thank you so much for coming to the Sulk stream tonight, guys. I hope I'm fun and entertaining for you guys. Because this is my own form of prostitution. Yeah, I enjoy it. Who says a whore can't have fun? Anyways, get comfy. Get cozy. Get a nice bottle of lube. Get your saran wrap out. And find a buddy to watch you choke yourself as you have an orgasm. I'm so glad you're here. If you're working, keep working. If you are driving, keep driving. What is it? Wednesday? It's a Wednesday. Wednesdays. Anyways, I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream. And this is called The OnlyFans Girl Who Killed a Guy with Plastic Wrap. Pretty on the nose. Anyways, enjoy.
Alright everybody, you know what time it is. It's time for another Strange and Dark Cases compilation video. This is where I take a lot of cases that are really too short to be their own video, but are definitely worth talking about, and compile them all into one.
A weird opening monologue by old Sulkster. Let's see if we can change the vibe on that up.
Longer video. And with that out of the way, let's get started.
I love my opening monologues. They make zero sense.
Right off the bat, we've got OnlyFans girl kills man with plastic wrap. It seems like recent
background noise says Girls Gone Wild is on OF. Is it nostalgic? I don't know. It could be. It really could be. Thank you for reading the description, by the way.
The stories about strange and deranged OnlyFans girls are only increasing in number. A lot of people contribute that to the fact that, given how massive...
Arden Shara says, you got downs, John? I can't do the downs face properly. There's a certain face that you have to do. And there's always happiness behind it. I've never seen a downs person sad, which is like... That's unfair. That's some bullshit. You have the IQ of a turtle, and then I'm the sad one. Maybe that's the key, right? Maybe that's the key. You're not smart enough to actually think of like the bad stuff. So you're just constantly in a good mood. God gives and he taketh away, I suppose.
Oversaturated the website is at this point, people usually have to do something pretty strange to stand out and make a name for themselves. Unfortunately, that has resulted in a lot of dangerous sorts.
Chaos says, I don't understand the OnlyFans thing. For what some of these weirdos spend, they could have bought multiple sex slaves from a shipping container. Yeah, no, I understand that. Here's the thing, though. OnlyFans is not strictly about prostitution. It's not strictly about pornography. Obviously, these things are readily available and abundant. OnlyFans is about the girlfriend experience. A lot of these OnlyFans people have teams of like little Filipino children messaging old guys because they want that interaction, right? They want to have a semblance of a relationship. They don't want to feel so alone in the world, right? And they will pay big money for that. My God, how much does a wife cost? Way, way more. Yeah, there's some other benefits and stuff. There's cooking and cleaning. But these things can also be, subcontracted out. So these OnlyFans girls are tapping into a need, an innate need. And loneliness is epidemic these days. I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys. Right? Most of you spend most of your time on the internet listening to people like me, like this guy. I don't know. The world's weird these days. It doesn't really surprise me how much money they spend on people, though.
Of debauchery. In her normal life, Michaela Brachet Rylersdam seemed to be an
The monkey says they want to pretend because they're pathetic. Yeah, I mean, yes. Yes. Do we blame them for that? Is it because they are pathetic, or are they alone because they're pathetic, or are they pathetic because they're alone? This is a chicken and egg situation, right? Sure, you could say, oh, they don't shower, or they don't have a job, or anything like that, and they sit alone in their house or their mom's basement or something like that, and they can't get their lives together, so of course they're not going to be able to be with somebody. That makes them pathetic. But what if it's the other way around? What if they do all of those things because they see no point in any of it, right? They have no one to take care of. No one really relies on them or anything like that. Maybe getting a girlfriend, getting a wife, getting a life partner like that would actually pull them out of the muck like this. It's something to think about.
Average woman. After marrying her husband Brandon, the two went on to have 3 kids. However, little did anyone know, she wasn't such a clean-cut mom behind the scenes.
She's a hoe. She's a whore. Mulatto chick. Not the worst, though. Not the worst mulatto chick I've ever seen. I'm just saying. Some of them can be good looking. Some of them. Some.
She both owned a stripper agency and operated an OnlyFans page along with her husband. On this page, she went by the name of Ashley Sincal.
Nice. I get it because there's the words ass and sin right there. You guys, most people wouldn't have picked that up, right? But the geniuses do.
That's Ashley with 2 S's so that it looks like the word ass, by the way.
This guy must be a genius.
While it isn't known how much money she made exactly, it seems that she and Brandon were...
This guy's a cuck. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. You can tell. There's something about it. Is it the tooth to gum ratio? He throws off major cuck vibes. Is anybody else picking up on super duper cuck vibes? Again, she's not that bad. She's kind of cute. But this guy is a super cuck.
We're making a pretty good chunk of change from this endeavor. Not only content to sell nudes, Michaela decided to branch out and start providing men with some good old BDSM entertainment in person as well. Signing up on a full-fledged escort website in addition to OnlyFans, she quickly got some requests.
I believe you. I really do. And I bet you made really good money. And your cuck husband was like, being a cuck ain't that bad. Right? And he's driving around in his Ferrari or whatever. And, okay. Call him a cuck all you want, and he'll drive right past you very quickly.
She would usually record these encounters and use them as content for her page afterwards. This only resulted in even more requests from other men and a need to keep ramping up the bizarre nature of the content to keep people...
There's nipple. I see nipple. All right, I'm just saying.
People interested. A 56-year-old man named Mike.
5, 6. I don't have 6 fingers on my right hand, but pretend I do. 56 years old.
Uncle Dale reached out to Michaela and expressed an interest in appearing in one of her videos. He told her that he had a thing for being wrapped up in plastic wrap, telling her to, quote, wrap him up in saran wrap like a mummy. He also wanted her to glue his eyes shut and, for some reason, glue women's shoes to his feet as well.
Why? Why glue the shoes to your feet? Why glue your eyes shut? Because that seems like a really bad idea. Because you don't know if, like... I mean, your eyes are important. My eyes are important. I don't want to, like, put glue in them. Right? Okay, fine. Glue shoes to my feet. Don't do that. But if I was into that, that wouldn't be, like, that big of a deal. Right? Because eventually, the skin on your feet will... And then it'll come up. You know those people who like glue their hand to the road? And then, the city comes by and then they're all like, dude, you're going to lose your hand. We can't save your hand. You use Gorilla Glue. This is like closer to epoxy. We can't like chisel this shit out. You are going to lose your hand. And then they lose their fucking hand and they're all like, well, I guess the whales weren't that important. No, they weren't. And you did nothing. You made people late for work, and maybe somebody died because there was an ambulance behind you. But you didn't save any whales. You look like a dick. And if somebody is in the highway protesting something, I won't even lift my foot off the gas pedal. I will not. I'll be like, oh, sorry, I didn't see him. Even though he was wearing like reflective vests and stuff like that, and there was a bunch of people with signs, I was like, well, I just, it was on cruise control, and I was, I can't say I was on my phone. So I'll just say, like, I was zoning out. Not the best idea to say, but whatever. Or what? I'll just say, I hit him. I saw him, I hit him. I had plenty of time to stop. So I hit him.
Michaela said that would all be fine, so the two met up on April 17th, 2023, with the agreement that Dale would pay her a whopping $11,000 to perform the act. Michaela started out by doing exactly what Dale wanted. She wrapped him up real good, glued some shoes to his feet, and then glued his eyes shut too. The thing is, she went overboard. She started doing things that Dale did not request without asking him first. After the man was wrapped up and couldn't move, she decided to place a plastic bag over his head and secure it with duct tape for a whole 8 minutes.
She didn't think. She wasn't thinking. Something took over. Something took over and she was like, yeah, this will be fun. But I don't think she understood that people can't breathe through plastic, which means she's retarded. But that's fine. I mean, she's an OnlyFans girl. What do you want? What do you seriously want?
Dale became unresponsive.
Background noise says this is murder. Yeah, but it's a girl, so she's not accountable for any of her actions ever in life. Apparently, because that's how we run society. If you have an two X chromosomes, then you just aren't responsible for anything you do in this life. And it's always a man's fault somehow. But yeah, this is murder. That would be murder. Or at least manslaughter. Or something like that, like through neglect. She wouldn't get a lot. She would not get a lot of time. She might get some pretty severe probation. But I highly doubt she's getting any jail time. I highly doubt that. I really, really do. Maybe if anything, 6 months. Is it really her fault? Yes, it is. But she could just be like, I thought he could breathe. There was a case where this lady zipped a guy up in a suitcase saying she was going to let him out, and he died in there. But that was pretty clear-cut murder, right? This is less so. That guy was in a suitcase for hours.
Despite noticing this, Michaela didn't care. Instead, she hovered over him and pleasured herself on camera in order to upload to her OnlyFans.
Sweet. Link?
Fans page. Only then did she think that she should probably try to revive him. After failing in that regard, she finally called 911, saying that a man had passed out in her house. When the police arrived, they found Michaela trying to perform CPR on him. She told the police officers that she didn't know what had happened, specifically saying that nothing had been placed over his head. She didn't seem to consider the fact that she had just recorded herself doing the very thing she denied.
So she's very stupid. She's very stupid. But again, what do you want?
The police found the footage very quickly while going over the scene. They said that Dale was very clearly...
It's okay to be Christian says around women never relax. It's just hard to. It's not that you don't even want to. It's just hard. It's just constantly... it's just hard, dude. Because, I mean, they're clumsy. But also, they don't stop talking. But they're clumsy, too. So it's very difficult to relax. This is why people have man caves and stuff. Where the door locks behind them. And then... I think man caves are a little gay, especially the name. Pretty gay. However, solitude in any respect is nice. And you don't have to have a man cave with like a big lazy chair and like a big ass TV with your video game. You can give me a fucking box. You can give me a box out in the yard that has like a curtain and like no amenities, right? It could be hot as fuck in that box, right? But it's just dark, and I'm just laying there, and I'm just decompressing. I'm staring into the blackness like a deprivation tank, right? Okay. Now I'll just stay here for a couple hours, and then I'll come back. I'll take the charge. You might have a wife and kids at home, and when you come home from work, do you sit in your car for like 10 to 15 minutes before you walk inside the house? I know some of you must. That's not uncommon. That's not uncommon. I'm just saying. There's a reason. Oops.
Struggling to breathe for the whole 8 minutes before passing out at some point along the way.
Rushing Mac says, I call my house the bone zone. So you don't have kids.
Dale was rushed to the hospital, but it was already too late. He was pronounced brain dead the following day. The decision was made...
It's okay to be Christian says, my box! This is my box! You stay out of daddy's box! Right? It's a refrigerator box, right? It might as well be a coffin. It might as well be a coffin, just so you can get a little bit of peace. Again, 120 degrees in there. But as long as you're alone... You're good. You're okay. You can handle it.
To take him off of life support, and he passed.
There's men that are more comfy in a foxhole. Right? Shells flying over their head and stuff like that. And they're like, I'm just in my foxhole. This is actually not so bad. This is not so bad. They go home and all of a sudden they have like really bad PTSD symptoms where they like pull a gun on their wife and stuff. They wake up sweating and they're all like, it happened again. And then she's like, honey, what were you dreaming about this time? Oh, I was dreaming about peace and quiet. But I wake up in the sweat and you have to pepper me with questions. Go to sleep, woman.
Passed away very shortly after. Michaela handed her phone over to the police. Her messages did clarify that Dale had indeed requested to be saran wrapped and glued, but they couldn't find anything about placing the bag over his head in his requests.
Well, so what? She winged it. She ran with it. Oh my God, she's on her way to being fat. She's really on her way to being fat. Okay, I withdraw my... And don't do that. Don't do that face. That it makes you look like an ape. I'm not even being mean. I said she was kind of cute earlier, but this is ape face. You know? And also lose some weight.
She also lied and told the police that it was her very first time engaging in BDSM type behavior.
You have an OnlyFans page. You have a fucking OnlyFans page. And it's chock full of this stuff. Why would you lie to the police about that? Why would you? I mean, you could have easily just said, yeah, he wanted me to like wrap him up in saran wrap. I kind of ran with it and put a bag over his head. I didn't think he was going to die. And then they'll be like, okay, that makes sense. You're going to go to court. You're going to go to court, but a lawyer hearing your story and seeing your background is going to argue very effectively to the judge that you're stupid and and it's the man's fault. That and you got the black card. Come on, dude. That is a fucking get out of jail free card. For this kind of scenario. I mean, like, for other scenarios too. OJ got out of jail for free because he was black. George Floyd was considered innocent. They never are. They never are. But yeah, I mean, easily, with even a slightly decent lawyer, you could have gotten a slap on the wrist at max. Max.
Likely hoping that she could claim that the whole thing was purely an inexperienced accident.
It kind of was.
The investigators were very disturbed with the deranged video she had taken of the ordeal, saying,
Ric Flair's hair says, "Evening, Colt. Okay, you can start over, John, now. Okay, welcome to the Incredible Sulk. I'm the Sulk stream." That's how it fucking started, Rick. Do you want me to seriously do the rest of the kind of depressing monologue? Do you want me to do the rest of that? I don't think you do. I don't think you do. No, we're just going to watch this whore, okay? Can we not be all bummed out and watch this fucking whore?
He had duct tape over his mouth, a plastic bag over his head.
Dance Not says, "You're racist, John." That's very observant of you.
More saran wrap around that, and then duct tape wrapped around his face and head, securing all the layers to his head. He also appeared to have had saran wrap wrapped around his neck tightly. It took a while, but Michaela, now 31 years old, was finally arrested in February of 2024 and charged with second-degree murder.
Third degree at best, but okay. The prosecutor's going to go for the most they can go. And the prosecutor's like, okay, second degree, right? And then the defendant, her lawyer, is going to go like, nah, she's just an idiot. Manslaughter, maybe, but not even really.
She still denies putting the bag over Dale's head or securing it with duct tape despite it being on video. She pled not guilty and continues to maintain that she didn't do it.
Background noise says, "I learned when I was 12 not to tape a bag over your head, and I've got a learning issue." Who taught you that? Was it your dad? So what do you think happened here?
Anything wrong. Either way, she was thrown into jail where she was to be held without bail. The case is complicated due to the fact that Dale really did reach out to her and request that she did about half of the things that she did that night, but the prosecutors have said that there is zero evidence that he ever consented to her doing anything to obstruct his breathing, to put a bag over his head, or to put tape over his mouth.
Another thing she's got going for her, besides the half-black card, the mulatto card, which is, whoa, that's a big card. That's a bigger card than just a straight black, right? Because the mulatto card, that's a better card. Another thing going for her is she's good looking. Juries never want to convict a good looking woman. Of course not, because they all want to get laid. I mean, she's going to come out and say, dude, it's 100%. They think they have a chance to get laid. If they bump into her on the street and they'll be like, "Oh, I was actually a juror, and the only reason you're out here at this bar is because I voted not guilty." So, not saying you owe me something, but you put a bag over that guy's head, and I would like the same treatment.
Mouth. None of that was on his list.
That's a compelling argument. I mean, like, seriously, if you're going out and picking up chicks, and then you bump into one like, "Oh, I acquitted you of murder." You want to? Yeah. Yes. That's an owe you one kind of situation, isn't it?
Michaela's attorney disagrees. He has said, "There was no intent to kill and no attempt to cover this up. She acted appropriately when she realized this was a problem. There is definitely a consensual element. Not only something he consented to, something he was actively seeking." Shortly after the incident, OnlyFans terminated the Ashley Sincal account. She never got to upload Dale's videos before the police intervened. Michaela is
You weren't streaming that shit? I'm actually surprised you weren't streaming that.
Still being held without bail at the Las Colinas detention facility.
It's okay to be Christian, says, "At least she doesn't like the movie Tank Girl." You know she does, though, right? Of course she does.
It seems that she will have her first hearing sometime in 2025.
Innocent. I guarantee you, off scot-free, most
and now
likely.
we have
most likely.
Mass murderer kills his wife while in prison.
Who was in prison?
Normally, when someone gets locked away for multiple murders, they're not really going to have the chance to kill again when they're behind bars.
Okay. All right, I think I know what happened. He got AIDS, and then he had a conjugal visit, and then she got AIDS and died from AIDS, and then he got another life sentence while he was already around behind bars. I'm going to assume that was it.
If they do, it's most likely going to be another inmate at the prison. Very, very rarely is it actually a member of their own family. David Brinson, a 54-year-old...
Okay. No one here is shocked.
...man has been serving a life sentence in prison ever since 1994. That's when he was part of a robbery in which he personally gunned down 4 people. Ever since then, prison has been his only home, and that's never going to change. Still though, it appears that, at some point, he had gotten a wife despite that. Stephanie Dowells, a 62-year-old grandma at this point, would often go out to have conjugal visits with David.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. If you marry somebody who's in jail for life because he murdered a bunch of people, and then you go and fuck him on a regular basis, and then you get murdered, I don't think there should be any penalty to that. I just don't. I mean, if you jump into a tank full of sharks and you get bitten by the shark, do you blame the shark? Of course not. You blame the person who jumped into the shark tank because it's their fault. There was a clear danger. There was a clear and present danger, and you put yourself into that. Unsupervised. Conjugal visits they're unsupervised, right? So behind closed doors with a mass murderer, and you're all like, yeah, that's safe. That's all right. It'll be fine. Okay. Honestly, no additional jail time. I know it doesn't mean anything because he's in jail for life anyway. He'll probably get married again, honestly.
At Mule Creek State Prison near Sacramento, any prisoners who aren't on death row...
Martin Shire says, boomer pussy go boom. Ugh.
...and aren't sex offenders are allowed to have what they call family visits.
Palanke says idiot. Yeah, she's a fucking idiot, and she deserved that. I don't even feel bad. I know she was like a grandma, and she's probably sorely missed and shit. But grandma was a whore. Gam Gam was a whore. Okay? And Gam Gam got what whores get. She got fucking, I imagine, strangled to death. You know. Unless he brought his shiv into a conjugal visit, which I don't know why you would do that, but maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But I assume she got strangled to death.
It's only occur once in a while, but they're usually held in some private...
Hey, Strawberry. But I'm different. He loves me. Are you a whore? Well, then you're gonna die. I'm just saying, dude. Like, whenever these like serial killers, like 16 prostitutes have gone missing. First of all, where is this registry of prostitutes? And what the fuck? And yes, of course you're going to go for prostitutes. No one misses prostitutes. No one's like, oh, she was such a, Yeah, that's a very difficult eulogy. It's a very difficult eulogy. Because you always want to, like, make them out to be the best person in the world and stuff. Like, wow, she was really fun. She was... When she walked into a room... Goodbye, Gam Gam.
Apartment-like prison cells somewhere on prison grounds. Sometimes they're allowed to be together for upwards of 40 hours or so. While this seems like something a murderer should never be allowed to receive, David apparently didn't treat the opportunity with much respect.
He has a very... If you look, he has a very low IQ. Everybody, just looking at him, We don't even need to hear him talk. I don't think he's like studying chess moves while he's in his cell and he's writing books about how the white men keep him down or whatever bullshit. He's not Nelson Mandela. He's probably got an IQ of roughly 55. Roughly, right? It could be much lower. So yeah, dude, you go into a cell or any room with like a murderous chimpanzee and you're like, it's okay. We're married. We're married. I married that chimpanzee, and there's no way he'll rip my face off because he loves me. No. It's the same thing when those women, and it's always women who like adopt chimpanzees like when they're babies, because they're cute when they're babies. And then they grow up to be a 250-pound chimpanzee. And then they're like, but I'm his mama. And he ripped your face clean off. Clean off and rip both your arms off and beat you with those, right? Like a windmill, just beating you with, not because he didn't love you, because he's a fucking chimpanzee. He's a fucking chimpanzee, and that's just simply his nature, okay? It's not like a nurture versus, it's not, no. He's a fucking chimpanzee. He's going to do what a chimpanzee does. And you're not his mother. You don't know that. He might see you as like a guard or something, right? And he's been imprisoned and like bottle fed his entire life, even though he's like a fully grown adult chimpanzee. You're babying him and he hates that. You can't talk to him. He doesn't have the mental capacity to communicate with you. And neither does this guy. Neither does this guy. He doesn't have the mental capacity to actually like conjugate the sentence to communicate that he wants to kill you. No, one day his eyes just glaze over and he snaps. Just like a fucking pit bull.
Stephanie was there one night during an unsupervised overnight visit with David. It isn't known exactly what happened, but it's believed that David lost his cool and strangled her there. He told prison faculty that he found his wife like that after she must...
Arden Sheriff says, what was that show that starts off on a movie set where the chimp kills everyone? I think it was a Jordan Peele thing. I don't know. I don't think Jordan Peele's a good director. I think all of his films are like derivative of like other films that other white directors have made, and he just readapts them with black people. Not really adding anything, but he just makes the same movie over again, but this time it's blacked up. So I don't think Jordan Peele is a good director. I don't. I really, really don't.
Must have fainted during her visit. A subsequent investigation showed clear signs of strangulation, though. Stephanie's 2 kids are bewildered. They've been left asking who in their right mind would have left a 4-time convicted murderer alone with their mom in prison. Her son has said,
I know this isn't like, well, look, of course he strangled her to death, because what other opportunity was he going to have, right? I guess he could have punched her to death or like, you know, stuck his hand down her throat or his cock down her throat or something like that. But like, let's just go with the safest assumption. And he strangled her to death. So now I'm wearing the hat because I predicted that. Again, that wasn't like any sort of magic. It was just pretty obvious. So I got the hat.
How could they just let this happen?
I want the hat.
I just don't get it. Given the history that this guy has, we kind of wanted to know how is it even possible for them to be unsupervised.
You didn't talk to your mom. You didn't talk to your whore-ass mother about like, hey, mom, I know you're married to this serial killer. Maybe you shouldn't be married to a serial killer. I would die to be in the room and hear her response. Like, oh my God, I would love it. I would love to hear her defend her marrying a serial killer and then going into a room with him alone and then fucking this guy. She was not a genius herself. And her kids are probably pretty fucking stupid too. So I doubt they even asked. I doubt they even like, hey, mom, Can you not? Because we love you here, and you have like grandkids, and you're kind of like an important member of the family, and maybe you don't have to marry a serial killer. Was that conversation ever held? Was it? Was it? Because if it was, then your mom deserved to die.
My mom was just left alone, and she called for help, I'm sure, and there's nothing she could do.
Arden Share says, donate to the Serial Killer Relief Fund here, Ko-Fi. Yeah, that is my Ko-Fi, but it goes to no charities. It goes straight into my bank account. I want everybody to know that I will never donate to any charity. Ever. Ever. Ever.
Stephanie's daughter-in-law has said that Stephanie had been pushing David to be a better person despite his past. She said they would read the Bible together. He was in school in there because she was pushing him to try to be this better person. A spokesperson for the prison has...
Wait, you were trying to make him a better person? Who gives a shit? He's in jail for the rest of his life. Why do you care? Why do you... And I'm sorry, you're trying to make him a better person by, like, giving him that coochie? Probably made him happier. I'm not going to deny that, but that did not make him a better person. No, that just made you gross.
Said, family visits are a privilege, and incarcerated persons must apply and meet strict...
Arden Share says, Kabuki, nobody saw it coming. No one could have seen this happen. No one could have predicted this. Absolutely no one. She was a community leader. And, she went to church on Sundays and she baked. And everyone thought she would. Nope. No one saw this coming. Imagine when she was like 20. She must have been a ravenous whore. Like a complete whore. Like a total whore. And I can't even... I know I use the word whore gets thrown a lot here at the Sulk stream. But this woman was like an actual prostitute, and her kids are probably the result of that.
Strict eligibility criteria to be approved.
Which means her grandkids are the result of that. So imagine that. Your grandma was a prostitute, and that gave birth to your mom, who probably had some pretty wild days herself. And then you're here. Just soak that up. Absorb that. Let that sit with you. As you grow up, because you know it early, and then you carry that with you for the rest of your life. Your grandmother was a whore. Your mom was a whore. You are the product of generational whoring. You might be a female yourself, and you are about to carry on the tradition of being a complete whore.
Only those who demonstrate sustained good behavior and meet specific program requirements are considered.
Lost Chaos says she was a ravenous whore at 13. Guaranteed. I guarantee you. 13 seems a little bit old. Honestly, she was probably pregnant at 12. At least, right? They've gotten pregnant earlier, right? And it's not like some like thing where they're like, oh, she was raped by her uncle and it was an incest baby. No, she went out and she was a whore. She went out whoring and told everyone she was 18 and then let everyone blow her back out. Yeah, that's not exactly,
These visits are designed to support positive family connections.
Hey, Big B, we're talking about whores.
And successful rehabilitation. For now, the police are hoping to continue their investigation and make for an airtight case before they officially charge David, but they don't seem to have it.
Tejas says, so kid, you're 13, but your mom is only 25? Oh.
Any doubt in their minds that he killed her. After all,
you have to have that conversation with literally everybody you meet. Every love interest, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, you bring them home and they're all like, is this your sister? Like, no, this is my mom. And then they're like, oh.
He was the only person with her when she was strangled. The whole thing seems pretty...
Very awkward. That's a very awkward situation. for everybody involved.
Open and shut. Even if he is charged, though, he's already in prison for life.
Big B says, well, unbuckles. Zip. Good job, Big B. Good. Good job. Whoa.
Given that California doesn't have the death penalty, it's very likely that his situation won't change at all. And this one is Grandma
The next one. I like these short, punchy stories, right? There's a lot we can extract, and it's short enough where we don't have to pay attention too long. I'm not blaming you guys for that. I'm blaming myself. I get bored. I get bored if it's something like, it's too detail heavy, and I have ADD too. I do. I have it under control, but it is still lingering. What were we talking about? Anyways.
Mauled by pit bulls on cocaine. 2 dogs.
Ho, 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 ho. Hold on.
And this one is Grandma mauled by pit bulls on cocaine.
That's a shirt right there. Just black and the same font and everything. Just fucking print me that. Print me that on a shirt. That's a shirt right there. People are they're gonna come. It's gonna be small, right? It's gonna be small. It'll be a great female shirt, like a girl shirt, right? Because it'll be small print, black, and then people lean in to look, and they'll be like, "Oh, I see you have small print on your large boobs," and then they lean in, and they're like, "Grandma mauled by pit bulls on cocaine," and then they'll back away. So, I mean, if you want to. For the ladies out there, if you want to give guys an immediate red flag, you don't have to color your hair all funny or put the thing in your nose or anything like that. Just wear this shirt and they will be tempted to read it. You know they will. Yeah.
2 dogs, Echo and Apollo, were no strangers to partaking in a bit of coke from time to time.
As you do. As a pit bull. Who can't even use a credit card to chop up lines on a mirror. Somebody's doing that for them. Why, you ask? That is an excellent question. I don't know why you'd waste cocaine on pit bulls, but let's find out.
In fact, just a few weeks before today's story, they had ingested quite a bit. This led to some
It was a party.
Ruckus, which kind of goes without saying, and the condiment.
Are they fighting these? Is this a dogfight situation? You have pit bulls, you give them a bunch of cocaine, and then you take them to a dogfight. This is very black. And I know that's racist to say, and that's why I said it.
Condominium they lived in ordered the dog's owner, Adam Withers, to get rid of them. However, Adam didn't get rid of.
Okay, I don't need the hat now, I guess. Damn. Just fucking slap me in the face. Okay, I was wrong. I admit that. I was wrong, and I apologize to the black community for my bigotry and my racial hatred. I'm sorry for what I did, and I'm sorry for what I said. I'm not.
Of the dog.
That was a joke.
He ignored the whole thing entirely. In fact, he even taunted the landlord by posting an image to Facebook of a pit bull that read,
"Humans are the problem." Well, you, sir, are definitely the problem.
That humans are the problem. Adam and his mother Susan that he lived with were indeed problems, and they weren't at all ashamed of it. Another woman living in the condos, 73-year-old Joanne Eckelbager.
Tejas says, Michael Vick approved. Mm-hmm. That's why I thought, okay, everyone can forgive me, right? Everyone can be like, it's okay, John. They have a history with it. And look, I know when to admit I was wrong. And I was wrong about this. It wasn't black people. This specific time. But don't tell me they haven't done that.
Was gardening outside one day in October when Echo and Apollo were let out of the house, allowed by Adam and Susan to roam freely around the complex whenever they pleased.
Rushing Matt says the link to the raccoon with the meth pipe. Sure, why not? I know they're playing. We played it on Daywave. They're playing it on ROTC, or they did play it on ROTC. Why not?
Hey, what? come here.
Hello?
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my God.
Her meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe right now. No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Don't
I don't want him to have
that. That's why I'm going to do it.
I don't want him to have it. He's been sober for 2 months.
Huh?
It's okay.
Okay, you're on Arlington. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
Is that what that
A few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what she's smoking meth in.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm sorry, if you have like a raccoon in your car and you drive that car without a window and like... And we totally missed this. We totally missed this detail. It's in front of a mattress firm. It's in front of, so now it's all falling together. Now everything's falling together. There's a mattress firm. There's like because mattress firms are fronts. Everybody understands this, right? Mattress firms are fronts for money laundering of some sort. And a lot of people think drug dealing, that's where they, because they're everywhere. They're everywhere. There's no way people are buying that many mattresses. No one can believe that. No one can believe that. So the mattress firm theory is starting to make a lot of sense. And then the meth raccoon is outside the mattress firm. Ooh, beating those allegations is going to be tough.
Raccoon's playing with her meth pipe.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Oh, there's no one.
He's got another one.
Smoke it.
All right.
Dude, sometimes it pays being a cop. You know, you got to deal with a lot of sad situations, you know, especially when like kids are involved and you have to deal with like the worst of society on a daily basis. But every once in a while, there's a silver lining to that cloud. And it's a raccoon with a meth pipe, which is probably the highlight of this man's career.
Thanks.
Honestly, the highlight of this man's career. That is the highlight of this man's career.
There's no way. All right, enough fun and games.
Here.
again?
By the way, not to hit you guys up, but it's been like a number of shows before I've gotten like, I haven't been getting very many donations, but
Holy hell.
That bell is cold. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's on his way here.
Keep an eye. She was trying to take.
Art and Shara says every once in a while, Meth Jesus comes through. It's literally a guy named Jesus. And yeah, he's got long hair.
The meth pipe out of the car. Just keep an eye on her real.
Yeah, he's Hispanic.
That day, the two dogs had once again gotten into some of Adam's cocaine before being let out.
Strawberry says he will definitely never stop telling that story. Would you, Strawberry? Would you ever forget that? Or would every dinner party you would ever go to, you'd be like, I bet I can top that one. So I was on patrol one day, and I come to this call, and this lady, she seems a little erratic, so I pull her out, and she's got a raccoon in the car. But hear this, the raccoon was smoking meth out of a meth pipe, out of her meth pipe. Right? He would probably, I'm sure he would have that story nailed. And he would like really fluff it up, embellish it. It would be really good. And then everyone would clap. He would get invited to so many dinner parties. I would invite him. I would invite this cop to my dinner party. I'd be like, tell the raccoon story. And he'd be like, okay. Okay, picture this.
Two dogs attacked Joanne, mauling her for several minutes as she screamed for help until she finally passed.
Teos says John needs money for raccoons and meth. Well, there's plenty of raccoons around here, but yeah, meth, yeah.
Away. Her husband.
That shit ain't free. That shit ain't free, especially with all the raccoons I have around. That's a lot of meth I have to buy.
Stanley, who is confined to a wheelchair and suffers from dementia, was left with no option but to look on in horror as the attack happened. The police were called, but it was already far too late to save Joanne. The cops tried to get...
Dan Snot says he would embellish it a little more each time. Yeah, of course he would. Of course he would. Hey, Strawberry, thank you. I'm sorry. Now I feel guilty, but not really. There's the bell for Strawberry. She gave me $5 saying, to the woe is me, nobody gives money train. I guess I deserve that. But I'm taking that $5. I need to feed my raccoon meth.
Them off of her, leading to the dogs attacking them as well. Even when the police shot the dogs, they continued their cocaine-fueled attack on the police until they finally couldn't any longer.
Strawberry. Well played. Well played.
Knowing the history of the dogs, they were taken in to be examined. It was proven that, once again, they had been high on cocaine at the time of the attack. Both of the owners, Adam and his mother Susan, were arrested on charges of involuntary manslaughter and taken in.
Wait, okay, so these cocaine pit bulls actually, they killed someone. And no one's surprised by that. They're pit bulls on cocaine. So they're not making the best decisions. They're not thinking about their future and being like, oh, my mom's going to cry when she hears I'm being put down. No.
They changed their minds very quickly about the whole humans are the problem thing and began to blame the dogs entirely, saying that
Archer says, I kid you not, this Rachel Siggy's bitch had a deer, a squirrel, and 3 raccoons running a meth lab. I'm sorry, Snow White had a meth lab? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Was this a Snow White situation? Or maybe some sort of Cinderella, where instead of making her a dress, she's all like, okay, now we need a flask, and we need some propane to heat that flask up, and we're cooking crack. We're cooking meth now, right? We're cooking that shit up. I would love to see the cartoon. If somebody can make some sort of AI where Cinderella's mice are actually cooking her meth, I'd appreciate that. You don't have to.
This was completely out of their control. Joanne's family did not feel the same, with her son saying, how do you not look at them as a villain?
Rushing Matt, little bastards always get in my trash. I hate raccoons. Yeah, there's some big ones around here too.
Responsible for killing your mom.
One night, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I heard something on my front porch. And I went out there. There's just a fat-ass raccoon. I put a trash bag out there because I was like, I'm going to take it out in the morning. But there's a fat-ass raccoon. And like, I turned the light on, I opened the door, and he was just right there. And he looked at me. And then went back to going through the trash. He was maybe a foot, 2 feet in front of me. Not far. Easily grabbing distance for both of us. And it was really more awkward than anything. Didn't give a fuck about me.
Her family has decided to sue both Adam and
I had a gun in my hand.
Susan, as well as the condominium association and the local dog warden.
He did not care.
Accusing them of severe negligence even after numerous complaints and red flags had been raised in the past, both about the dogs and about Adam himself. They were able to include police body cam footage both of this incident and the previous incident in which the dogs were high on coke. The police themselves were frustrated that the dog warden had refused to respond to any of this. The wrongful death suit is seeking damages of what has only been called over $25,000 along with punitive damages. The family's attorney said, "We're looking for justice. The authorities had a responsibility to take those dogs out of there." Adam was tried and convicted on charges of involuntary manslaughter. His mother, Susan, was also found guilty on the same charge. It took the jury only a couple of hours to come to that conclusion. It seems that their sentencing will take place at a later date.
Throw them in jail. I don't care. I don't care about those people.
Oh boy. Teacher asked students to gangbang her in scream masks.
Yeah, another one I'm not really surprised about. Like, public school teachers in the U.S. are depraved. They're depraved. They are, right? You always hear shit about, like, oh, Catholic priests and little boys and stuff like that. First of all, that was like 25 years ago. And second, you guys, no one's looking into, like, the public school situation and, like, how epidemic child abuse is in there. Like, no one's, like, making jokes about that. No, of course not. Of course not. No, because it's not in the media. It's not in the news because, you know, the teachers' unions are very powerful and they're very well connected to the Democratic Party. That's why every teacher you have is a liberal, is a stinking liberal. Go away, cat.
Alright, here's one that I'm honestly not even sure I can get away with talking about. Worst case scenario, I guess it becomes a membership/Patreon exclusive, but let's hope it doesn't come to that. This story all started when a teacher decided to lose a bunch of weight, and let's just say she couldn't really control her desires anymore after that. A teacher in Indiana, 31-year-old Brittany Fortenberry, has just recently been hit with numerous charges related to her misconduct.
She's fat, dude. You're fat. You're fat. That's why. Because you weren't getting enough male attention, and you're kind of fat.
Creepy behavior and full-on assault of a number of boys at her school. Working at Eminence...
Not too fat. Like, I mean, like, you're fat, right? But, like...
High school in Martinsville, she has had at least 6, but possibly more boys come out and say that she had abused them in one way or another.
I bet... You really think it was 6? Maybe it was like maybe 2 or 3, and then like just 2 or 3 other guys were like, "Oh no, me too, yeah, yeah, I banged her too," and then just high five.
Not only that, but her husband, Nicholas Fortenberry, was apparently well aware of her fascination with underage boys and allowed it to happen time and time again. But it gets even...
Cuck. Ew. What the fuck? Why wouldn't you immediately call the police? Why wouldn't you immediately call the police?
Even worse than that. Some of Brittany's victims have come out to say that she sent them nude photos and videos of herself.
Yeah, you're kind of fat, though. You're fat.
Over social media, which they were able to prove. They also said that, in a bid to groom them, she had spent hundreds upon hundreds of dollars buying weed, vapes, clothes, and various other gifts for them as well.
Okay, cool. I mean, like... I'm sure these... Oh my god, dude.
One of them claimed that she showed off a pole dancing pole that she had installed in her house.
That must be a strong pole.
Even sending him photos of her, well, toys that she used when she thought of him.
Ew.
One of the boys was the son of one of Brittany's friends.
Ew, she's pig-faced, too. Ew.
She said that her son had received a multitude of messages from Brittany on Snapchat until he blocked her.
Oh, good.
She also showered him with...
Dude, if a teacher has a Snapchat, that's a red flag, right? If girls have Snapchat, that's a red flag.
Gifts related to football, some of them being fairly expensive.
Rushing Matt says, I bet she has a brown, disgusting asshole. Yeah, probably. You're probably absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, like, look at all the food she puts through that thing.
Well, this was so odd that his mother asked her son, Frank Lee, if Brittany had ever done anything to him. She says that her son began to cry, saying that the creepy teacher had actually bought him a lot of drugs and alcohol to try to win him over. In addition to that, she had sent him...
Which is grooming, obviously. That's called grooming. And I feel like if this was the... like, if the genders were swapped, this problem probably would have been solved a lot sooner. I'm not saying anything... Well, that's... Come on.
Him an endless stream of sexual videos of herself that he was too embarrassed to disclose to his mom earlier.
You're fat. You're fat. Come on. I know you're wearing, what are those, a corset, right? You're wearing a corset, but you're still fat.
Some of the other victims said that their
and she's twisting to not show how fucking fat she is.
Experience with Brittany was much more direct. One night, she urged 3 boys to say that they were staying the night at a friend's house, but instead come over to her place. She picked them up and took the 3 boys over to her home, some as young as 13, and asked them to, in her words, gangbang her. She oddly forced them to wear scream masks while doing so. It seems that in the end they agreed and it went through. One of the boys told detectives that they felt pressured, given that Brittany would buy them anything that they wanted.
Honey, the cow bikini is not doing you any favors. It's not doing you any favors, right? You're inviting a comparison. And on top of that, you're a nasty whore. Like the scream masks and stuff. Okay, you're getting gangbanged by minors. And you make them wear a scream. You're a nasty whore. You are a nasty whore.
It seems that they couldn't continue after one incident where Brittany forced the boys to take
Rushing Matt says fat bitches always take pictures with angles to try to hide it. Yeah, of course. Of course. That's just, yeah, of course.
Shrooms. When they didn't want to
shrooms, huh?
take them around her, she grabbed them by the arms and told them to just let it happen. When they still wouldn't take them, she instead mixed them into some food she gave to them.
Okay, now that is a very serious crime. I mean, a lot of these are very serious crimes, but that's poisoning somebody. That could be argued as attempted murder.
She even sent one of the kids a video of herself
Is this seriously the name of the underwear? Sax?
getting off on some underwear that they had left behind. One of the victims said that Brittany's husband, Nicholas, was completely aware of what his wife was doing. When the boys seemed to be unhappy with what had happened, this husband told him, straight to his face, that he would slaughter him in front of his whole family if he ever spoke up about what his wife was doing.
Okay, so the husband's into it. He finds it sexually weird. Well, you're going to jail too then. That's what is this called? When you have knowledge of a crime, is that still aiding and abetting? Is that what it is? You're going to jail too.
Was doing. When this all came out, Brittany was very swiftly arrested and hit with a large number of charges. After it has come to light that she had forced herself on at least 10 different boys, she's been hit with 10 counts of child molestation, 9 counts of dissemination of matter harmful to minors, 6 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and 4 counts of sexual misconduct with a minor.
3 months of probation.
Her husband, Nicholas, was charged with intimidation and failure to report a crime.
Life! Probably. I want to know.
It goes without saying that Brittany was immediately let go from her job as soon as all of this came out.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she's not going to become a teacher somewhere else. That's pretty easy. And they literally do 0 background checks. So, big deal. She doesn't go back to that school. She goes and maybe drives a little bit further.
After her arrest, Brittany broke down and told the cops that none of this would have happened if she were still fat. She said that
it's true. It is true.
That after losing 150 pounds, she got far too
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. So she had the self-esteem issues, right? And this is just like when old cougars say, old cougars feel worthless because they are. So to counteract this emotion, this feeling, they go out and bang young studs, 25-year-olds, younger even, 20-year-olds and stuff like that, and think that's some sort of achievement. It is not. It is not. Yeah. Oh, good job. You caught dick. Wow. How tough. That must have been difficult. You must really be a prize, you fucking 55-year-old cougar, alcoholic, wino. It's not. But somehow that's how they view it. But it's not, dude. You're just an old whore. You're not desired or anything. You're just gross. You're just gross. And none of these boys are going to marry you unless they're like the French president's. Unless you're the French. That guy's weird. The French president, he's a fucking weirdo. You bang your teacher that's like was an adult when you were born. That's nasty. And then you marry her? Ew.
Overconfident and acting on her desires. As of the
Despite says she'll become a prison guard. Yeah, that's possible. Because she's not going to get punished for this to a proper degree.
Making of this video, the case against Brittany is actually still developing as more and more students continue to speak out and more charges are piled on.
Okay.
With the sheer amount of developments happening every week, it's likely that her trial won't come around for quite some time. Whenever it does, there's an absolute mountain of evidence against her.
Yeah, so I mean, you're, again, a slap on the wrist. Probably.
After that, why not get into South Korean tourist poses as American high schooler to meet kids.
Frozen?
Hey, while we're on the subject of schools, why not get in this one too?
Frozen?
This is definitely one of the most purely weird stories on this list. In fact, one of the reasons that it's so weird is because the police and other people aren't really even sure if it's a crime or not. But then again, if it isn't a crime, then they don't really know what to label it.
Weird?
This story started when a South Korean man named Dong-ha Lee, who says he was 18 years old, got himself a 90-day tourist visa to the United States and set off on a journey. Almost nothing is known about who he actually is, what kind of path he took through the United States, or who he was staying with, or even if his age is accurate. What we do know are...
To get a visa, you need to provide all that information. Why didn't... What? How you have to tell them where you're staying, how you give them your identity. You have to give them a lot of information. I'm an American, so like this is what happens when I go overseas. So why wouldn't they do the same when people come here? Don't answer that.
Are the incidents that took place after his arrival in Georgia. Dong-ha made his way out to Gwinnett County, Georgia, part of the Atlanta metropolitan area. On Friday, February 28, 2025, someone dropped him off at Seconder High School. There, he entered into the building through one of the side doors, avoiding the main entrance. Someone, it's unclear who, led him inside. He wandered around the building pretty aimlessly, seemingly looking around for something. This was when a staff member confronted him. Having no clue who this clearly foreign man was or why he was in the building, he was taken to see the school administrator. When talking with the administrator, it was found that Dong-ha had been messaging at least one of the students there on Instagram and had been trying to get this student to leave class and come meet up with him. The school resource officers gave him a warning for criminal trespass and kicked him out. Dong-ha then left in an Uber, but it wouldn't be his last time coming out to the school. He continued to communicate with some of the students from the school. Eventually, he convinced a few of them to meet up with him at the mall. There, he bought them some expensive gifts like high-end perfumes and cologne. He even offered to straight up give them some cash if they wanted it. When school staff heard of this, they sent a warning out to parents, asking them to report if this guy had been meeting up with any other kids.
Watch out for this Korean guy. He kind of looks like Frozen, and he's after your kids.
Dong-ha
It's not Frozen. I don't think it's Frozen. I don't know. It might be Frozen.
Made his way back out to the school on Monday, March 4th.
I don't know.
He very oddly went up to school staff and tried to enroll himself in the school. They, bewildered, turned him away due to his age and not having citizenship or even temporary residency within the United States. After all of these bizarre occurrences, the local news began to report on the mysterious Korean man who was trying to make his way into the school system. Dong-ha, angry at the...
Rushing Matt says, I hate fat bitches. Well, they hate themselves. They hate themselves, and this is why they do the extremely whorish things. This is why the fat bitch is known as the grenade. And she's not... All fat bitches are sluts. This is a fact. This is a fact of life. All fat bitches are sluts. Because they just crave attention. They want to feel important and stuff. And being so fat their entire lives, usually, they don't get tons of attention. They just don't. And so they turn into sluts. It is what it is.
The coverage actually decided to call the police himself. He said that he was being threatened due to the coverage of the incidents. Rather than the cops coming out to help him, though, they instead issued him one more warning not to attend any schools in the area again. The next day, the local...
Just warning after warning. But he is committing crimes, though. Well, is he? Is it a crime? Was he committing crimes? Are these crimes? I mean, trespassing is a crime, sure, but he didn't trespass twice. He got trespassed once and didn't return. And then he's talking to underage people on Instagram, which I don't think is a crime either. He's not propositioning them for sex or anything, as far as I know. He's just buying them nice things and offering them cash. Again, not technically a crime. This guy's weird, but not doing any crimes. You can tell he's probably kind of smart. He's probably pretty smart. He's South Korean. They're smart people. Right? Again, with my racism. So he's probably being pretty careful about, like, not specifically doing crimes. Now, was his eventual goal to do a crime? Yeah, of course. Almost certainly. But he didn't, and he didn't even communicate that in any clear kind of way, so he's just weird. At this point, he's just weird. He's not grooming anybody. He's not buying kids anything illegal. He's not, like, propositioning them in any sort of way. He's just like, hey, you want to meet me at the mall? I'll buy you stuff. Obviously, that's weird. That's very strange. And there's no reason you should be in the country. And this is what you do here? Something is afoot, of course. Not a crime, though.
News actually found out how to contact Dong-ha and had a very weird phone conversation with him. He lied numerous times during the call, for example, saying that he was staying at a hotel when he was actually staying at someone's house, and saying that he had been given permission to enter the school. His biggest lie was saying that he had met the kids he talked to on a previous trip when they came out to Korea, somewhere those students had never been. Strangely, the news crew also noticed that his phone number was registered to a California area code.
Why are you meeting up with these individuals through Instagram and going
so
and buying
he got
them
a
things?
phone. He got a phone in California. Whoa. You didn't have a phone in Korea? You must have had a phone in Korea. He's up to no good. But he's being pretty smart about it. He's being pretty smart. Like not using your own phone and stuff. Yeah, you're trying to cover your tracks. That's clear.
Just I wanted to make friends.
But Buford and second year high school?
I met some students who were going to second year high school. I met them in Korea when they visited to Seoul. Firstly, I didn't do anything illegal in here.
And he knows that.
Second, in like second year high school, they gave me like visitor sticker, yellow one, visitor sticker with my name.
Visitor sticker. It says inaudible, but visitor. That's what he's saying. Visitor stickers.
Like entry date and purpose. They gave me visitor sticker, so I did.
Visitor sticker. Why couldn't you understand that?
Didn't do anything illegal. Didn't do anything illegal.
And lying to the news is not illegal. I mean, I would do that for fun. I do that for fun. I call them. I'm all like, I have a bomb. No, I don't. I'm kidding.
Why are you doing this?
For a meeting.
Why?
For a meeting. For registration.
What does that mean?
And how old are you?
18.
Because Hall County said your age did not match what you were telling them.
Oh, I was born in 2006.
So you're like... No.
Very shortly after this phone call, the police actually paid Dong-ha another visit. They came out to the home where he was staying on Laurelwood Trail and Flowery Branch. It seems that he was still messaging the
prepaid American phone so he doesn't get roaming charges. Are roaming charges a thing still? Are roaming charges a thing? I don't think that's a thing anymore. And like, because you could just go on the internet and call people for free. So I don't really think that's the case.
The students. He was booked into the Hall County Jail. He was then put on an immigration hold. Dong-ha Lee was charged with failure of unauthorized person to check in at designated location due to his entering of the school. It's unknown if he will see any time for this. He still remains in the Hall County Jail as of the making of this video.
Why? What did he do? What did he do?
Here's a controversial one. Anti-Elon activist sets himself on fire with Molotov cocktails.
Why? Why would you?
There has been a whole lot of controversy.
Why would you do that? Why would you set yourself on fire because you don't like Elon Musk? That doesn't make sense. Okay.
Going on with Elon Musk recently, and regardless of how you feel about him,
I don't know why setting yourself on fire is a protest. I don't know why that's a protest. That's killing yourself. That's not a protest. That's just you committing suicide. And it's like the worst way to die. That seems so painful. That like would really, really hurt. Wouldn't that really, really hurt? And no one's going to remember that. What was that one guy who set himself on fire because of Israel and Palestine or whatever is going on there? See? I don't even have all the facts. I don't have his name. I don't know why he did it exactly. And that's it. This is the best I can come. You set yourself on fire. You ended your life. And I can't even remember your name. Good work.
You can't deny that it has resulted in some pretty chaotic antics.
Good work,
You've got
sir.
graffiti, vandalism, and even people taking shots at each other. This case, however, is one of the weirder ones to fit into that list.
It's definitely a
A
burner phone,
24-year-old
though?
man named
Yeah, of
Daniel
course.
Clark
Of course it's a
Pounder
burner
was
phone.
working as a mechanic in South Carolina when he developed a strong, passionate hatred for Elon Musk.
Surfing Jesus. He seems like a queer.
He decided that he would take it upon himself to engage in a bit of Tesla violence, as many others have been doing. On March 7th, 2025, he pulled his Chrysler van into a parking lot where some electric car chargers were. He began to make some graffiti, scrawling "Fuck Trump" and "Long live the Ukraine" onto the parking lot before starting his mission. This wouldn't be his first time getting into some trouble involving cars, having previously been arrested on DUI charges, for driving with open containers of alcohol, and for driving without insurance. This, however, would be the first time that his crime would be related to damaging cars. He walked towards the car chargers in a mask, wearing some bright blue gloves and carrying a 6-pack of glass bottles. He then lit the bottles.
Okay, those are very clearly Molotov cocktails.
Which turned out to be Molotov cocktails, and threw them towards the Tesla brand chargers. He threw 5 of the bottles without issue. The 6th, though, wouldn't go off without a hitch. It seems that, due to the dropping of some of the flammable liquid during his backswing, he ended up catching his own back on fire and dropping the bottle. One of the only witnesses...
And then, okay. All right, so that it was an accident. It wasn't on purpose, but he's an idiot. So, there you go.
Said that this is what prompted Daniel to finally flee the scene. It's unclear how extensive his injuries were, but he did manage to put the fire out. He hopped back into his van and quickly sped off. The police issued a public appeal to help find him, and it doesn't seem that it took very long. On March 13th...
I know. That's funny, right? That's pretty funny. You're just an idiot.
They found him for some reason still with the burned clothing in his van. They even found what appeared to be some sort of political manifesto that he had been writing, most of which were ramblings centered around Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. They found one...
Wasting your life, dude. That's a waste of your life. Seriously, why do you care so much? You're like young. You're like a young man. I know you feel like you're an activist or you're some sort of revolutionary or something like that, but you're clearly brainwashed. Heavily brainwashed. And now your life is ruined because you couldn't distinguish reality from fantasy that was in your head. And if it wasn't going to be this, it was going to be something else. So whatever. I mean, whatever.
One more 3-page manifesto inside a notebook in his apartment. The U.S. Attorney, Brooke B. Andrews, said of the case, "While we will defend the public's right to peaceful protest, we will not hesitate to act..."
Background says, ooh, he violated the NFA. That's actually pretty... What is the NFA? What is the NFA?
Protest crosses the line into violence and mayhem. These kinds of attacks have no place in our community. We must remain united in our commitment.
Real Goat Herder says, Sulk is getting bananas. I have no bananas. I'm bananaless. I'm very bananaless. Okay, he sends a thing, and he sent me a TikTok link. All right, fine, I'll bring it on up. Is there sound to this?
In Beeston for more than a... Who is leaving a plate of peeled bananas on a street in Nottinghamshire every month? Okay, now...
I haven't been in Nottinghamshire in weeks.
That's bananas. No, but seriously, the mysterious plate has appeared on the second day of every month in the same spot in Beeston for more than a year now. Neighbours...
So, stake out the spot and figure out who's leaving bananas. And where is this spot? Is it close to a certain race's house?
Have tried to investigate, but no one has been able to find out why or who is leaving the fruits. And some people are just getting sick of it, saying that the bananas go mouldy, that they're gross, and some people might say that they're making the street unappealing.
Pretty good. Okay, all right, I'll give that to you.
This woman even put a sign up to stop the banana feed.
Please, respectfully, no more bananas. You see the sign? Please, with all due respect, we are quite annoyed with the bananas. If you could please stop leaving them here, I would appreciate that. And the guy read it like, whoa, aggressive.
But that didn't work. So when the first plate of 20...
Look, please respectfully, no more bananas. The uncollected plates and rotting bananas leave such a mess. Wishing a happy new year to you all from Nottinghamshire Clean Champion Street Cleaner Volunteer. Wow. She's angry. You can tell. This is British angry. She's British angry.
2025 appeared, she decided to take the sign down so she could avoid a feud. But she did say, I think it's a special thing for someone and I wish them well. But if they could come back and clean up the mess a few days later, that would be lovely.
And then everyone gets their way. You get to leave your bananas, and then the other people aren't like, oh, these bananas, they're everywhere. Oh, these bananas, they're everywhere. You should consider yourself lucky that bananas are your biggest problem. Like, seriously. When I was in Las Vegas in the cab, I saw a homeless black man shit in the middle of the street. I saw his ass. But you get rowdy over your bananas.
Who is leaving a plate of peeled bananas on a street in Nottinghamshire?
Kabuki says tasty nanners. Tasty nanners, of course.
Okay, now that's bananas. No, but seriously, the mysterious plate has appeared on the
Oh, are we doing it again? Do you want to just have the rest of the show? We watch this one TikTok.
second day of every month in the same
Let's see how many
spot in
times we can do
Easton
it.
for more than a year now. Neighbours have tried to investigate, but no one has been able to find out why or who is leaving the fruits.
Who's the Nana Man? Who's the Nana Man?
Saying that the bananas go mouldy, that they're gross.
They're
and
gross.
Some people might say that they're making the street unappealing. This woman even put a sign up to stop the banana fiend, but that didn't work.
The banana fiend. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Thank you, Real Goat Herder. I really appreciate you sending me that, because I mean we're gonna blow the lid off of this case and find the real banana bandit, the real banana, the banana man, the banana leaver. He's not even doing a crime. Is this a crime? Is leaving bananas on the street a crime? I guess. Littering, possibly. But they're bananas. So, I don't get the UK. Weren't they like a vicious empire at one point? And now they're now they're getting overtaken by Muslims and stuff, so they're screwed. They're screwed. Bananas are the least of your worries, UK. You should worry about people getting stabbed to death on the street, like, all the time. You should worry about all the Muslims taking over your country and, like, arriving on boats one after another. You know what? You should go over to Muslim or wherever they are and then just do it back to them. You did that to India. They seem pretty pissed about it. But at some point you were like, oh, you can have India back. It stinks here. Which I think was a good move. It was a good move, right? Because I wouldn't want to spend a second in India that I didn't have to. Ew.
Admit to safety and respect for all, regardless of political differences. Daniel Clark Pounder was arraigned in court.
Rushing Matt says, did y'all get drunk and do heroin and meth in Vegas? Well, I got drunk. I didn't do heroin and meth.
It was publicized that he's facing a long 20 years in prison. It seems that he was hit with a charge of arson of property and interstate commerce. The attorneys read a letter that Daniel had written in which he claimed that Luigi Mangione, the United Healthcare CEO assassin, as a major influence.
He did this to get laid, right? Because a bunch of bitches were like, they wanted to, like, you'd get down on Luigi's nuts and stuff like that. And he was all like, hey, I want some of that. I want some of that tang. Maybe I should throw Molotov cocktails and shit. Not the same effect. That, and you're weird. You're like creepy. You have
Daniel
a creepy
said
vibe.
that, although
He's got a creepy vibe, right? Somebody back me up here. This guy's got a creepy vibe.
Actions were indeed those of extremism. He hoped that he, like Luigi, would inspire others to engage in non-violent protest. A magistrate granted Daniel pre-trial release, saying that it was granted due to his history of mental illness and a lack of prior violent record. She pressured Daniel's family to get him some help and make sure that he actually takes his meds, implying that he was willingly neglecting to take them leading up to the incident. Right now, Daniel is under house arrest, forced to live with his mom while she makes sure he treats his bipolar disorder.
So you're not getting laid. Okay. Sucks.
And this one is, janitor spread STDs by peeing in water bottles.
Based. That's not based. That's just weird. But okay, let's hear it.
This isn't even the first time on this channel that we've come across someone being a little bit of a piss miscreant. A pisscreant, if you will. But this might be the only time anyone's actually gotten sick from it. Lucio Catarino Diaz was a 52-year-old janitor working at a medical building in Houston in 2022.
Okay.
Once a woman working
At
in
least it wasn't a high school, I guess. This time.
the same building noticed that her water had an odd smell,
This tastes like piss.
sour taste and a yellow tint. She immediately became afraid that someone had tampered with it. She said, "I felt disgusted. I raised it to my face, smelled it, and it smelled like urine."
This is definitely piss. I'm sure this is piss. Yep, that's piss. This is definitely piss.
She decided to set up a hidden camera on her desk and leave a bottle of water out to see what would happen. It didn't take too long at all. When she reviewed the video later, it showed...
Is there a new pope? Have they done... Is there a new pope? Was a new pope elected? Is he black? I want to know. I haven't heard about it, so it probably hasn't happened.
Lucio himself removing the bottle cap, shoving his wiener halfway into the bottle...
Okay.
Submerging it in the water, and then fiddling around with it before putting it back. The police were called, and when they confronted Lucio, he fully admitted that he had done it. At least 13 times to different people, in fact. He said that he had done it with malicious intent and that it was some sort of sickness he had. While
I just like doing it. It's like, it's kind of my thing. Okay, you don't need to work at this hospital anymore or anywhere because I don't know a place, you know, that's weird.
while they didn't doubt that, it didn't really make them feel any sympathy for him either. It came to be found that at least 13 people who worked at the building ended up with either herpes...
A monkey says, no smoke, no pope. Here we go. It's there. I am the pope now.
hepatitis A, or both after drinking...
Oh, you can get hepatitis from pee? You get pee? Hepatitis? I didn't know. I didn't know that. I didn't know you get hepatitis from pee. That's... I thought it was sterile. I thought it was sterile. Didn't you guys think it was sterile? It was sterile. I thought it was sterile.
Drinking the contaminated water. Some of them hadn't even been drinking from bottled water. They had only used the...
Background noise says he pees in water bottles and dips his balls in coffee cups. Yeah, I mean, probably. Probably. And it's like old Mexican man balls. So it's like, what is that? Right? You know pee when you drink pee. Like, right? But like the taste of vinegary Mexican balls. That one, it would be difficult to put your finger on it. You know? You'd be like, what is that? What is that?
water coolers within the building. That meant that...
Onia says pee is not sterile. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure pee is sterile. Now, is hepatitis a germ? It's not a germ. So, what is hepatitis? A protein? Something like that? I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Lucio had likely been cramming his porker in there as well.
Onia says it's full of bacteria. I don't think it is. I've heard my entire life that piss is sterile. Am I wrong? Is that wrong? I mean, if it is, somebody got to check in on that.
Some of the victims have since went on...
And don't look it up. Pee into something and then leave it out and see if something grows.
...to file a lawsuit seeking over $1 million in damages against both Lucio and the custodial...
Background noise says, dude, it wasn't just piss he was putting out there. It was balls, too, of course.
company...
Oh, and hepatitis, right? So... Man, I'd be pissed. That was not on purpose. I did not I did not do that on purpose.
Placed him at their workplace.
No, I'm better than that. But I would be legitimately mad.
When it came to his trial, Lucio pled guilty.
And I would be like, we need to deport this one. We need to deport all of them, right? But this one first. He pissed me off. See, now I did it on purpose. I did it on purpose because I'm not better than that. I'm not.
Guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. To everyone's shock, he was given more or less a slap on the wrist. He was only
Rushing Matt says, my ex-girlfriend was a squirter. Hot. She used to soak me, and yes, it's pissed. Hot.
Sentenced to 3 years in prison and allowed time served for the 2 years he had
Despite what you've heard, it says bacteria grows in urine once it becomes stagnant. So it is sterile. Once it comes out of your wee-wee hole, because we're adults here, it is sterile, but after that, it gets infected, and then it becomes...
in jail up until that point. So in the end, effectively, he was given a 1-year sentence and probation.
Despite says you can drink fresh piss to survive dehydration in an emergency. I don't recommend that, though, because it doesn't taste good. I'll just die. Well, it depends. If, like, a girl pees in a cup and, like, she's, like, really hot, I'll consider it.
For giving
but not an old Mexican man. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You don't know how, like, what kind of shape his kidneys are in or anything like that. Not that it's going to hurt you, but these guys got hepatitis from it, so it might hurt you.
All these different people, lifelong illnesses with possibly life-threatening complications. The victims were outraged even further when, even after all of that, Lucio wasn't required to register as a sex offender.
Real Goat Herder says, I only drink squirt. The soda, right? The soda? The soda. The soda.
Now we've got what you've been waiting for. Florida man bites his friend's ear off at the beach.
This is not even a headline. This wouldn't make it into the news. This would not make it into the news, right? This is not a headline that you would see because it's just so plain. It's boring. No. What? We have way better things. We have a meth-smoking raccoon. Yeah, sometimes people get their ears bit off. It happens, okay? Cover the raccoon.
Here we have yet another Florida man story. I really don't even have to look for these anymore by this point. I always just coincidentally come across at least 1 or 2 of them while I'm getting ready for one of these videos. So here's one to hold you over this month. A young 18-year-old man named Jack Turner decided to go partake in some St. Patrick's Day festivities at the Fort Myers Beach in Florida. It was here that he got into a fight with a man he knew named Juwan Black.
Juwan Black? A black guy? Okay.
During the scuffle, he began to hurl racial insults at Juwan as they fought.
What did he say? Did he say it? I bet he said it. I bet you he said it. I'd say it too.
A video taken by witnesses showed Jack taking Juwan down to the ground, holding his face in the sand, and slamming his fists into the back of his head. After Juwan was down, Jack pulled his head up by his hair and bit.
Hog Dog, we've had enough bananas tonight. All right, we don't need any more bananas. There's no more bananas needed. Kabuki Tut says, no, he means vaginal squirt? I've never had that type. Is that a different type of... We're still talking about soda, though, right? It's just a flavored soda. Like salt and vinegar chips. Only with squirt, the beverage. Vagina flavored. No, I don't think I'd be a fan. I think I'd be like... It's not doing it for me. It's just not doing it for me, so... Yeah, that's piss.
Bit down on his ear, biting the whole thing clean off. It was described by the police as traumatic auricular amputation. After that, someone finally stepped in and broke up the fight. The police were called, and the witness who recorded the whole thing sent a copy of the video to them, leaving very little doubt as to what had happened. Juwan was taken to a local hospital to patch up his ear hole, while Jack was sent to the Lee County Jail. He's been charged with felony battery. The Lee County Sheriff said in a statement, Sheriff Carmine
Did you keep the ear? I would have kept the ear. Right? And whispered things in it. Good night. Right? Just have my ear. I'm like, good night, I love you. And he hears it. Somehow he hears it. There's a weird connection they have.
Marchino has zero tolerance for violence of any kind. Fort Myers Beach will continue to remain safe for all visitors and residents of...
That's bullshit. That is bullshit. Fort Myers Beach will continue to remain safe for all visitors and residents of Lee County. That's bullshit. You're fucking lying. Come on. I've been to Fort Myers. It's not safe.
Lee County.
That shit ain't safe.
And now, Poland arrests Ukrainian woman selling 56 human kidneys.
Something bad happened. Something really bad. Dude, there's some shit going on in Ukraine that's not good. That's not good. When you come up with 56 human kidneys, but that's not the only, there's other shit going on in Ukraine that's like shisty and like real low key. And Russia's going in there and they're probably trying to put a stop to shit like this happening. This is not even like the more intense stuff. Apparently there's some like really weird shit going on in Ukraine. So, but yeah, let's hear what's going on here.
A Ukrainian woman had been discovered to be part of an international organ harvesting criminal organization, having been collecting human organs and tissues from people against their will from 2017 to 2019. She had been found to have illegally obtained kidneys harvested from people from all over the world, like in Kazakhstan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Ukraine, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Thailand. It seemed that she had been at it for quite a long time, making it her main and only source of income. After being caught with 56 human kidneys on her person, she was convicted for her crimes, but by unknown methods she avoided serving her 12-year prison sentence.
Unknown methods. Come on. I can't.
Made a break for it, escaping from the justice system and going on.
Kabuki Tut says, an organization. Stop it, Kabuki. Stop it. Stop it. We're not doing puns like that. We're not doing the appealing banana things. We're not doing like pissed off or no, we're not doing puns like that. This is a refined show. This is a learning institution. Okay? We're highbrow. Up here. Highbrow. Highbrow. Okay? Please. Leave the puns by the wayside. No more puns. Please. Please. I know it's organized crime and all that. It's a very rich pun area and like, just control yourselves.
On the run. She had been wanted by Interpol ever since November of 2020. Interpol had issued a red notice on her, urging global law enforcement to arrest her and extradite her so that she could finally end up in prison. Well, it would be Polish border guards that would finally come across the woman.
Polizja. Polakja.
In 2025. The now 35-year-old woman, only being known as Ksenia P. due to Poland's privacy law.
Onia says, stop pontificating, John. I'm going to shoot myself. I'm going to fucking shoot myself. And I'm going to put Onias Ujimbo at the end. I did it because, well, the rest of your names too.
Was detained at a railroad crossing between Poland and Ukraine. Once they looked
and my sons will hunt you for vengeance. They will avenge me, and they will hunt you down one by one. And they'll be like, he said, stop the puns, man. He just said, stop the puns.
To her, they saw the Interpol notice and found out exactly who she was.
That's it. That's all I needed.
It seemed that her time on the run is now all over, and she's facing extradition to Kazakhstan to serve out her prison term and possibly end up with more years added on after her previous flight. And, police dog loses bonus over workplace misconduct.
Why do police dogs get bonuses? What does that even mean? Do they get paid? Do they? I don't know.
And now we have what is probably one of the strangest cases of police misconduct.
Pamunky says Banana Rama Vacations. Goof sells the banana katana now, which is really, really... A banana katana? It's pronounced katana. But I can see a banana katana. Banana katana. That actually is wonderful. That's a wonderful one. I'm going to say that as I drift off to sleep. After I say, good night, I love you, into the ear I have that I bit off. Good night, I love you, banana katana. Banana katana. Oh, I wonder if my furniture will start to float.
Conduct in history, and it involves none other than a little corgi dog. The little dog, given the name Fuzai, meaning lucky boy, joined the police force at a small local public security.
It's fucking adorable. These little corgis, they have my heart. I love you, you little adorable corgi. I want to pet you. I want to hold you like this. And then we'll walk around town and we're like, yeah, he's a corgi, right? Because people will be like, that's an adorable dog. Can I pet him? I'm like, no. Fuck you, little girl.
Bureau in China back in 2023 when he was about 4 months.
You want to hear some banana puns? I'm a menace here. They want to throw me out, but they can't. I don't know why not. I don't know. Banana puns, I guess, they're not illegal. And I curse at children.
Months old. Given how small he was, he developed a talent for getting into tight spaces and sniffing out explosives. This
Nice.
got him a promotion to reserve.
Oh my God, it's fucking adorable. Jeez. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? This is not even fair. He's adorable. I'm sorry. I love this. I'm happy. This makes me happy. That's not normal.
Reserve's explosive detection dog in January of 2024. Now,
Art and Jerry says, you can't pet my corgi. It's high on cocaine. He's got to do a lot of bomb finding later. And I thought cocaine was the best thing for him to do that. This is my 5th dog.
a little over a year old, he was winning a lot of favor both with the public and with his trainers. After not too long, he graduated to be a full-fledged police dog. Fuzai's story was being shared all over the Chinese side of TikTok, getting his own personal account by the Weifang Public Security Bureau.
Sweet.
The account, called Corgi Police Dog Fuzai and His Comrades, got a pretty large fan base, sporting over 384,000 followers.
Cool.
In one video, Fuzai was praised for his contributions to the force throughout 2024 after completing several tasks given to him. He was awarded with a red flower, some toys, and some treats during his performance review. However, it wasn't too long after this that Fuzai's first major scandal came to light. He had
Okay, what's the scandal? What's the scandal? What's the scandal?
been caught both sleeping on duty and peeing in his food bowl.
Oh my God. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What did you do? What was internal affairs involved?
As a result, he was charged with workplace misconduct and had his end-of-the-year bonus revoked.
Oh, I bet that pissed people off. I bet that made people really angry. It makes me angry now. I'm not even Chinese yet. No, that's unacceptable. He's a dog, right? You can't do that. That's not fair.
On camera, the treats and toys were confiscated while he was allowed to keep...
He's a pisser. He's a pisser. What, despite says one of my cats has a life vest for kayaking, but goggles aren't going to happen. Yeah, goggles on a cat would seem hard. That would seem hard. If I put goggles... Okay, I'm going to have to get my dog some goggles. I'll get Dudley goggles. They'll be adorable. And he'll rock them. He'll look great.
Keep the red flower.
He will look great.
In the video, an officer said, "Hope you make more persistent efforts in the future."
Shut up. Shut up. You pee in Coke, I can pee in my food.
The video...
That's what the corgi said.
...quickly gained hundreds of comments. Many demanded that his bonus be returned to him and his record scrubbed clean. One commenter wrote, "He peed in his own food bowl, not in his boss's. Return his bonus immediately."
He's right. He's absolutely right, dude. I mean, like, that's just him. He's probably like, Chinese people don't season their food, right? And so he pissed in his own food and he ate it up. That's not wrong. And yeah, he sleeps sometimes. He's a dog. He's alert still. Have you ever tried to sneak past a sleeping dog? It's hard. It's really hard. They're basically not asleep. Come on, China. I know how you treat dogs usually. And this is a huge improvement, don't get me wrong. But this is a little stiff. That's a stiff punishment. He's not Chinese, he's Corgi. Which I think is some sort of Italian, I'm not sure. So, come on.
Eventually another post was made, showing that Fuzai had been made whole in the end. To celebrate Chinese New Year, he was given a gift box including some Pacific...
Okay, fine, I'll put... This is Hog Dog with his cat on a kayak. Everybody, have we absorbed this properly? That's not a kayak. That's like a stand-up paddleboard. And that's not a cat. That's clearly a dog. Is this even you? Is this even you, Hog Dog? Or are you just... Is your entire identity a wall of lies? I don't appreciate being lied to so effectively. Please become worse at it. I would really appreciate that.
Herring, pumpkin soup, rabbit meatballs, dumplings, and a dish called Buddha's Temptation, a Chinese delicacy it seems. As of the making of this video, Fuzai has not peed on any of that food.
Okay, that's good.
It appears he has learned his lesson.
They probably beat him mercilessly.
Once again, thank you for watching my video. If you found it interesting, please give it a like. It really helps me out in the algorithm, and feel free to subscribe.
I hated this video. I hated it all. I hate you. I hate you. And I hate you. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about this guy. Oh, you guys don't know this. I can see myself on my screen. I'm pointing at it right now. You see? You see what I'm pointing at? Yep, that worked. That worked perfectly well. Well, I guess I'll finish it up. I don't care. Why not? I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It's 5 minutes left. I mean, what's really going to happen? I could go on a rant. I could spend the last 5 minutes ranting about how pee is actually sterile or not sterile, or I don't know. I could talk about how good dogs look in goggles. Why is that a thing? Why is that? Why do they look so good in goggles? It kind of makes me... I don't look that good in goggles. I look weird. Not that weird. I still look good. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Like Hog Dog. That was not a cat in a kayak. I'm not going to forgive you for that. You understand? Once you violate the Sulk's trust... Yeah, third person. Once you violate the Sulk's trust, it cannot be restored. It's simply impossible. I hope you're grieving. No. Yes. Anyways, I think I've said my piece, and I've done the things I need to do to require the things that are required of me here, which is nothing. Nothing is required of me here. I do this for fun most of the time, but a lot of the time I just do it out of pure habit. Right? I'm like a robot. I'm an automaton where I just do my things, and then this is just another thing I do. It's just on the docket. It's on the list. I don't have any sort of free will that you might think a person should have. I don't. I'm just existing. I'm here watching my life through my eyes with no actual control over my decisions or my thoughts. It's horrible. I make jokes when I don't mean to make jokes. I have no control over it. But anyways, I hope you guys had a good time tonight. I hope you guys are out there making me proud and staying strong and being good cult members as much as you possibly can, as much as you possibly can. I understand how hard life is. I really, really, really do. And I'm glad you decided to spend a small percentage of that life with me. I don't understand why. I don't. But I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try. Because it seems pointless. And life is pointless enough as it is. Or is it? See, I'm getting philosophical now. Because that's how Sulk likes to do it. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you get out there and you make your dreams come true, because you're making my dreams come true. I'll be back here tomorrow at 8 p.m. like I am every night, 5 nights a week. I'll be doing Daywave tomorrow at 10 a.m. like I do 5 days a week. I have no choice in the matter. This is just what I do. Until then, I hope you guys have a good night. Stay strong, stay vibrant, stay adventurous and willing, and go and talk about the Sulk stream. And maybe buy a t-shirt if you don't mind. You know, hit me with a dono once in a while. I would love it. I would really appreciate it. Anyways, guys, until then, drink water, get a good night's sleep, and take care of yourselves, because I care about you too. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Love you. Good night.
I'm an incredible soul, unhinged and enraged like a bulldog's fierce growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster too. Government lies, they're feeding me their goo. I'm diving deep into this rabbit hole, uncovering the truth, setting fire to their control. I got small nipples, but my voice is loud, roaring like thunder in this crazy crowd. They say I'm crazy, but I call it woke, unraveling the madness with every word I spoke.